Hi everyone and welcome to this video. So in this tutorial we are going to explore more on what we've been learning, and we want to just expand into more questions and more form controls in KoboToolbox. Uh, I plan to cover select multiple questions, image questions, and also map questions, and see how we can implement some validation rules and some constraints, as well as some skip logic based on how the video will go. We have our scenario here, and it's just the same scenario that we've been using for the school assessment. We have some section of the school information, collecting the county, the sub-county, the ward, and also the name of the school, then a map question. Then we have also conditions of the classroom, the infrastructure. We have questions surrounding water access, then the teacher's assessment, and finally some comments and the head teacher's contact. We also have the form in paper version, how it would look like if it was to be filled manually using a paper version. I've gone ahead and created my XLS form, and in my XLS form here we have some columns that we've stated. We have first the 3 compulsory sheets, so we have the survey, choices, and settings, and I'm going to explain what we have in each of them. I've gone ahead also and created the 3 compulsory columns that we need. So we need the type, the name, and the label. We also have some more that we'll be seeing as we go by. I've added some three metadata. Remember, the first 2 are compulsory, as we saw in the previous video. So let's go ahead and just see how we can be able to digitize the form. So we have our questionnaire here, and our form here also, so that you can be doing side by side. The first question we see, I'm going to skip this row, we're coming back to it later. So the first question we have is the county, then we also have sub-county. So we have county, sub-county, then we have the ward, and we have the school name, the first 4 questions. So we are also going to have the label there. So the label there, and just how the user shall see this question displayed to them. So the first question on county is a select one question. So we're going to say select _1. Then once you're telling me select one, what am I selecting from? You need to give me a list of options. So we have our list of options highlighted here in the form. So we have 3 counties given to us: County Siaya, Baringo, and Nakuru. So we need to give them a group name. Our array has to have a name, so we are going to name them county. So select one from a list known as county. So that's the first thing that we need to do. So we need to say select one from county, but we haven't said where this county is, and that's the purpose of the choices sheet. So the choices sheet tells us our list of choices that the user will be selecting from. And under the choices, we have 3 compulsory columns. The first one is list name, so list _name. Then we also have the name and the label. So these are compulsory columns under this sheet. And what these columns do, what we need them, first of all, the list name will tell us the name of the group. So like for us, we have the county that we've listed there. So select one from county, and we expect to have 3 of them. Then our choices are now from Baringo, Nakuru, and Siaya. These 3 counties. So also I'm going to just name them label Nakuru and Siaya. So what this does, each choice is unique, and I've used small letters. The reason I'm using small letters here is just the same rules that I gave when giving name under the survey column, but we mentioned we need to have them as small. Although KoboToolbox allows capital here, you need to have them, don't put spaces, instead use underscore. If you building it on the web version and you download the XLS, you'll notice that Kobo has tweaked them for you. But however, the reason for this is if you need to use this form, let's say for a ODK platform like Wana, it will be able to integrate easily and not flag you off for these errors. So let's do the same for sub-county. So select _1 sub-county, and go ahead and just populate the choices for the sub-county. So for the sub-county, I have this spreadsheet here that we have listed, the sub-counties. What I have is the name. I also have the label that the user will see, and I've also appended each county to its, and the reason for this I'll be explaining it just right now after I paste it. So let's say no, then paste them as values, just in case any formula has something problem, any formula in the function. So that's, we have it that way. So we have the county, sub-county, then we have the label to be seen to the user. But we've also appended the name of each sub-county, each county. So like all of these counties are from Baringo. All of these sub-counties rather are from Nakuru and so forth. So thus we need to add a new column here. This represents county. We've just appended them there. We've added them to the side. So the reason we are doing this is because in our choice, in our spreadsheet, in our Word document, we want to add a functionality known as a choice filter. What this does, we want to filter the choices based on the previous option, so that we don't have a list of long sub-counties. Remember here, how many sub-counties do we have? We have a total of 23. So it will be having a long choices, and we don't want that here. So we just say that select one from sub-county, then we come and add a new column here known as choice filter, just as I've done it here. So choice underscore filter. Then how do we set up that statement? So we're going to say county equals to $county. County equals to $county. So what this does, it tells us that from this county column here, what we need to do is ensure that the county is equal to the question county as the user selected. I'm going to do the same for the word. So select underscore one word, and I'm going to also just here, rather now we're going to use the sub-county. So sub-county equals to $sub underscore county. Then I need to give the choices for the sub-county. Here. So label this here, and then I've created a list for the words. Yeah, so I've created a list for the words, Kenya words, and I'm going to copy all of them. So I'm sorry about that. So undo. Then I'm going to copy all of them and paste them here. So I'm going to paste them here. Then I'm going to add the list name. So this is just word. This is word. So there we have it. Those are the words that we need, and just selected them here. Select one word. So for the school name, we're going to have them as text. Then we have the EMIS and the GPS coordinates. So we just have them there, pasted as values. So this will be the school EMIS, then school underscore GPS. The EMIS will be an integer value, and for the GPS will be a geopoint question. The last thing before we test our form, so we need to see, can we be able, these questions we want to make them compulsory so the user cannot skip them. So for that, we are going to add a new column known as required, and we're just going to say true for all of these questions. So if you want it to be filled by default, if you want it to be compulsory, you can say maybe this to be true. Let's add that. Then maybe the EMIS code, we let it to be false so that you can see how it looks like. So I'm going to save this form. And then I'm going to just go ahead and test it in a virtual environment before deploying it. So I'm going to go to this link. I've added it in the description. So it's just the ODK checker. You can just search ODK checker on Google, and it's going to return this environment where you can be able to convert an XLS form into an ODK form for temporary previewing. Then just go ahead and click and see how your form looks like. Upload it, you can preview. So this is how our form looks like right now. So I just opened the Encanto environment. The form will ask you for permissions here. So remember, if you have reset the permission, and then you reload this page. There are permissions that will be required for you here, so maybe allow this time. So let's see how our logic looks like. So the first question is the county. Then once we select our county, we see it's placed with the choices of the sub-county. So let's say we are in Nakuru, we are in Molo, then maybe the sub-counties for Molo are listed there. So the school name will be maybe 2 Summers. Then the EMIS code, if you notice here, we have an asterisk on these questions. These questions are the ones that we set them as true. For the EMIS code that we don't have an asterisk, it means it's not compulsory. Then lastly, for the GPS coordinates, you can go select it on the map or search an address, but rather you can just click on the dot here and it will give you the exact location that you are in. So that's how we test and validate the form. So we can go ahead and see our form is valid. So let's just fill up the other sections that we needed to do. So I've opened my XLS form again. I've opened my XLS form and just selected the Word documents that we were using so that you can go see side by side. We noticed here on our form that we had questions grouped by. So we had on our form, we had the first question, which was the school information as section A. So this part, we need to have them group our questions in that format. So I'm going to start here and say begin, and let's use small letters, begin underscore group, begin underscore group. Then also end underscore group, end underscore group. So what we need to do here, what this does, just tells us these questions group them, and we're going to name our group as page 0. Then I'm going to paste the label here as section A. So section A, let me just use the same formatting. That so all of these questions will be grouped under one category. So we can add the other section. So let's just add the second section, then finish up with some other parts. So begin group. So this will be page 1. And what we have in this section, so we have these infrastructure-based questions. So I'm going to paste them under the label because this is how we want the questions to appear to the user. So this will be condition, number of classrooms, number of classes, then class pic, let's say one of the picture of the classroom. So since we begin our group, we need to end it. So end group, and then this one is the label of this category is infrastructure. So infrastructure spelling, so infrastructure. So this one will be a select one question, so select underscore 1. Number of classes will be an integer, and then the class will be an image-based question. So whenever we have an image-based question, we may not know the size of the image that will be taken. So in order to do this, I'll skip this part for now, but so that we go and test, and because we'll get an error or a warning for this question, but let us just use it as is like that. I also like to just format the groups so that you can see clearly which one group starts or which group ends. You can also conditional format, maybe highlight text equal to maybe let's say group, so you can see equals, so text that contains, so the statement group for you, so you can just clearly see this where each group begins and each group ends. So this is a select one question. We need to put the options. So select one question, condition, go to the choices, just add that statement condition. So what were the conditions that we had? Good, fair, and bad. So we're going to say good, fair, poor. So good, fair, and poor. So just say good, fair, poor. So all of these are for conditions. And then for the number of classes, it's an integer, and this one is a fixed. So all the questions are true. So for me personally, I like having this statement in small letters. rather than in capital letters, but it doesn't make a difference. So you can have them in small or in capital. Doesn't make any difference. The other thing that we need to do, we need to add some more constraints on this form. So for example, we want our emis to be restricted to, let's say, number of, to be, since it's an integer, we need maybe our emis code to be 8 digits at most. So the user should only enter 8 digits here. So in order to do that, I've added a new column known as constraint, and the constraint just allows us to add a constraint to each question. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go ahead and just say which constraint we are adding here. So for the first question, the integer question here, we're going to use regular expressions, and regular expressions are really powerful string matching tools and the functions that we use them in most programming languages. So I've gone ahead and just say regex, then dot in KoboToolbox allows us just to refer to one row. So regex, then comma, then which function are we following? So gone ahead and just the symbol that we use for raised by in mathematics. You can tell me the name of this function symbol in the comments. So 1 to 9. So what we do here, we have regex this question, which is this row, then follow this format should be restricted to 1 to 9 or 0 to 9. Then also what we need here, we need to say now the number. So we're going to say 7 so that it can be, it adds one more, then close it with a $sign, and then since we opened a single quotation, we need to close it. Then since it will bring a warning if the user messes up, we need to say what is the reason. So please enter a value of 8 digits. So that's how the constraint message will look like. Lastly, we need to also tie this question, because the integer, when you have an integer question, it can be a negative or a positive. So I'll say should be greater than 0 so that it allows us to maybe have questions that are maybe only positive integers. So accepts only positive values. So that doesn't allow you to have negative values. So should be greater than or equal to 0. Then lastly, here we need to say the image question should be relevant if the user say maybe there is at least one classroom in this school. So this one we'll test it in the next question. So we accept that there should be more than one, at least greater than or equal to 1. So I'm saving it and I'm going back to my virtual environment here to test my form. So I'm going to close these other tools, then just select my form once again, submit. So we have a warning here. Yellow is a warning, it can work, but it's a warning. So what does it tell us here? So it tells us row 16 as a problem. So use max pixels parameter to speed up submission for sending and save storage space. So learn more about this. So what this is telling us is we chose an image question, but we did not say what size should be. Remember, our Kobo space server is limited, and you pay for more storage. For the community version that I'm using here, it's limited to 1 GB. So what it will need us to do is just set a max pixel here. So what I'm going to add is a column known as parameters, and this applies mostly to media-based questions such as audio and images, videos, so that we can set that. Then it tells us to use the max pixels. So what this does is just limit the number of pixels per each photo, and we can say maybe max pixel equals to 100. So this will be a very poor quality photo, but at least now it will be limited in terms of spacing. So I'm going to just deploy the form, submit. So we see here we have a new error here. So what I've done here, I've misplaced the spelling, and this is what I was telling you about the virtual environment. If it has an error, it won't work. So what I have here is parameters. So parameters, so let me ensure that I just have that captured correctly rather than just saying it like that. So parameters. Then for the max pixels, I also want to have it captured correctly. So where do we have it? So max.pixels. Let's see it here where it is. Where we have it lastly here. So max dash pixels. So max dash pixels equals to 100. I think it was almost the same thing, but rather just flagging us. Let's see if it will work. Submit it. Perfect. It's worked. So go ahead and test your form. Go ahead and test your form and see how it looks like right now. So also we are allowed the location, then just fill it up for sub-counties that are existing. So it will give us the sub-county name. So Bahati, let's say Bahati like that. Then emis, so let's see if our choices accepts. So value is not allowed because now our limit is more than what we needed to have. So if we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 6 7, let's see if it will accept. 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. It hasn't accepted, so that is also limited there. And then we have the choices, the number of classrooms. Let's say if we have -1, it says value not allowed, but if we have like 12, it accepts. Then you can be able to upload a picture from anything that you have there and you can submit it. So there we have it, guys. We've been able to go ahead and see advanced form tutorials. So we have something yet that hasn't worked properly, and we shall start with that in the next video. So we need to start with the regular expressions. This is something that you miss out once in a while, but we need to look at it so that you can type these questions. We've also not been able to cover this all of this because the video will be a little bit long. So in the next video, we're going to discuss how do we add relevant types of questions, some more constraints, and just see how do we also have optional questions for the user. Thank you for watching, and really big thank you for the comments and for the subscription that you've given me, guys. So I'll see you in the next video.